Okay, good afternoon. We are talking about a multi-touch technology. We have done the similar topic in another course and find that a lot of people do not really have a understanding of multi-touch and single touch. The differences. They think they are just the same. Nowadays, we can see people doing this movement in everywhere in the school, in MTR stations, and this is actually some kind of touch technology. But a lot of them are actually single touch. It means that they cannot simultaneously feel two pressure or two touch at the same time. So we would like to see how multi-touch technology is different from the single touch one, and also see how its application would be continued in future. So first, I have a very definition is the human-computer interaction technique, which has the ability to simultaneously register two or more distinct positions of input touches. It just this is quite technical, but in reality, it means just it can feel two or more fingers at the same time. So its very brief background is more than 28 years of history, and a very famous Bell Labs also involved in engineering a touchscreen that could manipulate the image.
And next, I will talk about the features of the multi-touch technology. First of all, it will provide us with direct interaction between the human and the machine, where actually we don't need to use mouse or keypad, but using hand gestures and finger movements. And next, it provides us with multi-detection channels, because the multi-touch will have a few detectors, and people can use it by using different mediums, and multi-screens can be connected to form a large interface so that multi-users can be used, which brings us the third feature as well. And fourthly is the object recognition, because we find out that actually some people can just put a CD-ROM on the touch screen, and then it will evolve some digital response from the computer, and it is the object recognition feature of the multi-touch technology. And next we'll talk about the other features from it.
So actually there are various principles which the touch technology used, and in the comparison between the single touch and the multi-touch, you can see from the graph, basically there are two main touch technologies that the multi-touch are using, which are namely the optical camera as well as the projected capacitive. And to further illustrate the idea, we will go through the two demonstrating picture to you. One of them is the optical camera, and as you can see, you can imagine there is a multi-touch screen right in front of you, and then there are two cameras on the two top corners of the screen, and then they're sending out like lights, and they're actually illuminated, like for example they're sending out like infrared light and so on, and then they are crossing each other, and then they are basically locating the touching point by in terms of x and the y axis, and then the crossing lines are actually whenever you have a point which blocks the light, it will locate your position. And then there are certain advantages. One is it is easily done, and then the other is that the transmission rate is quite high, which is about 90%, so you can say it's quite sensitive and accurate. And the second principle is the projected capacitive, which you can imagine there is a pattern sensor attached on the back of the surface of the screen, and whenever there is a pattern change, say if there is a pressure change, the relative or corresponding current level will be changed as well. And so to put things together, and then we will demonstrate an integrated example, and which is quite sophisticated, and you can see there is two sensors, and we will name that the LED sensors, which sense like infrared light, and then the infrared light are actually bouncing within the area between the screen and the sensor, and then the actually the no light could escape from the screen, and then actually because of the principle of frustrated total internal reflection, which we're not gonna go deep into the basic the background concepts, but then apart from the sensor which sends out the light, there is also a pressure sensitive coating which demonstrates the idea of the projective capacitive, that when you touch the screen, the pressure acts like a pattern change, and then there is a current change correspondingly to the change on top of the screen.
So we know how it can apply in our daily lives in different areas. First, it's handling the visual images. For graphic designers, photographers, and architects, now they have to use their mouse and set formulas inside computers. Even they can do it with a touch technology in single touch, it will be very complicated because when you like to move objects and also try to zoom or to drag it, it's still difficult to use by simply single touch technology. With multi-touch, you can just drag everything and move the images in the screen using both hands. And also for music composition, especially for keyboard instruments. Now if you're single touch, you can only play one note. But now with the multi-touch, you can have a chord and use both your right and your left hands at the same time. And also have to practice piano. And you don't even need someone to tone the piano for you because the sound will not change in the computer. And so the third one is for entertainment. A lot of innovative games has actually emerged already, such as the Warcraft. So people can have the games and interact with in the virtual world. And also used in casinos, because in the casinos you don't need someone help you to keep the cards and to distribute them again and queue up and all the settings up. Keeping tracks will be done by the computer. So it replaces the physical tokens and the chips and the card. And for fourth one is in the education industry. People can use ebook, and students will have a screen on their desk. You can just write notes, write annotation, highlight the text, adjust character size, and whatever you want to do in your notes as you're doing now in our textbook. And after the lecture, you can just send the whole thing back to your email address. This is a lot more environmental friendly. And so the fifth one is about geographical application. You can analyze the maps by rotating and dragging, zooming the location in the screen, and navigate around it in the virtual world. And also in industrial use, such as some industry that are more prone to shock and temperature extreme. Actually, apart from the sixth area we discussed, it's expected it will be used in a lot more industries, such as the media industry and the medicine industry, because it allows our fingers to really get in touch with the screen, which is a lot more convenient than comparing with using the mouse.
And next, I'll talk about the comparative advantage of multi-touch over single touch. Actually, the features of multi-touch technology is also a comparative advantage. First of all, it will maximize efficiency because you can save physical space of other materials, as mentioned by Lily, said that we can actually save papers and other kind of document saving, and as well as the time. And because the fastest multi-touch is actually twice as fast as the mouse-based workstation, and it can enable multi-users to use the interface at the same time as well. And another comparative advantage is it can handle complex materials easily because by using multi-touch, we can drag, enlarge, and shrink by using our fingers to present complicated data and manipulating some complex materials for presenting information. And this is using multi-touch can provide a more natural way for you to present your report and data, and also this can increase the productivity of your task. And another advantage is it is ideal for group collaboration. It is because multi-touch technology will enable different users to use at the same time, and it's just like a Google Doc, so that actually multi-user can achieve the document at the same time, and people can actually connect different screens together to form a single interface. And so this is the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Good. So, quite comprehensive discussion on multi-touch. So now we get some good idea about how it's different from single touch, the optical and the capacitive technique. I think that isolate the X and Y precision, right? That's good. Thank you.